Hello everyone, I'm delighted to see you again in this new video. During my previous intervention, I illustrated the concept of a service center through a gardening service in order to be understood by the widest audience. I briefly recalled and put into perspective the various possible modes of intervention that could be transposed to any type of service. The various objectives of this video are to describe all the IT services that can be provided within the framework of a service center, to extend the previous illustration to a simple and well-known service, the help desk, and to present the advantages of a service center, the prerequisites necessary for its implementation, the main obstacles, as well as some planning concepts. Within the realm of IT services, a service contract can be established for a multitude of recurring activities, such as the operational maintenance of your information system, and more specifically, the management of incidents, problems, user support, and corrective maintenance of applications of all types and varieties. Other activities can be included in a service contract, such as the development and evolutionary maintenance of applications, as well as third-party application testing. I remind you that this last activity consists of testing an application or software in order to evaluate if the product is in line with the functional requirements. The service contract may also include non-regulation tests. These tests allow for the validation of the implementation of new features to ensure that they will not have any impact on the functions of the software that already exists. The more activities have a recurrence and a significant volume, the more relevant it is to implement a service contract. If it is the same partner who carries out non-recurring activities like projects, these can be integrated into the same service contract using a pricing model similar to the flat rate service or skills delegation, ensuring a seamless and efficient workflow for all parties involved. If we take an example of incident management by a help desk service, the primary activities include recording the incident, categorizing it, which enables the ticket to be swiftly routed to the appropriate team, prioritizing it, which determines its resolution priority, assigning it, managing the corresponding task, and reassigning it if needed. Every time a user calls the help desk, it will handle an incident that systematically includes the first 5 activities described above. We could define a work unit called a ticket in this context, which would correspond to the execution of 5 grouped activities. Then, a price of 8R would be awarded to him as part of a contract. In case there are multiple levels of complexity regarding incident resolution, simply assign as many levels to this ticket as necessary. Generally, we rarely go beyond 4 levels of complexity. Of course, each level of complexity will have to be defined and formalized with a concern for objectivity and alignment with the provider to ensure accuracy and effectiveness. For example, we could describe the complexity of a level 1 ticket as simple support activities that are delivered by applying an existing procedure. We could also describe the complexity of a level 2 ticket or medium ticket as activities that cannot be delivered through an existing procedure but require standard market expertise in order to be resolved. The pricing grid would be described as displayed on the screen. The first column enumerates the sole work unit taken into account for this example. The 2 columns that follow represent the necessary load, for indicative purposes, to carry out the 5 actions related to ticket management by level of complexity. Next, there are the 2 columns that will indicate the unit prices for each level of complexity in the flat. The last 2 columns represent your needs and your consumption in terms of ticket volume. To evaluate annual global price of level 1 and level 2 help desk activities, multiply volumes of work units, i.e. number of level 1 tickets and number of level 2 tickets, by respective negotiated unit cost in contract. The unit cost of the ticket will depend on the daily rates and the participants and the average times that will be spent to carry out these activities. To implement a service center, prerequisites include ADSI's willingness and strong sponsorship, maturity of service-oriented departments, as this type of contract is more complex than a fixed price or hardware timer contract implementation. If the maturity level is low, the IDSI must be accompanied by a firm that will also provide assistance to help it in increasing its maturity. Internal or external purchasing expertise, indeed, sourcing, analysis, and negotiation techniques differ from other modes of intervention. A precise understanding of the scope and IT activities involved, as well as a sufficient volume of activities for the operation to be profitable for all parties involved in the project. Unfortunately, not all client or provider organizations possess the necessary level of maturity to successfully launch this kind of initiative at this point in time. We can mention some obstacles, such as the lack of internal visibility in terms of the nature of services and volume, the lack of necessary expertise to define the work units and appropriate performance indicators, internal resistance to change, accustomed to the extensive use of the intangible theme, the lack of sponsorship from management, and also the lack of resources to prepare and implement such a project. Therefore, what are the reasons why organizations choose to utilize this mode of intervention? On the client side, in addition to the numerous advantages already mentioned in the Competence Center video, the Service Center enables you to gain greater efficiency and accomplish economies of scale by pooling and industrializing activities and processes. Tracking indicators allows for productivity gains. The implementation of work unit catalogs and cost breakdowns allows for negotiating standard costs and deliverables based on a commitment to results in advance. The Service Center also allows to maintain a high level of expertise in both measurable and guaranteed services and to implement the best technologies on the market. It also enhances functioning between clients and partners while eliminating all social and legal risks related to consultant interventions. Finally, you can also relocate activities to low-cost countries. In this case, for the sake of efficiency, this initiative must be carefully studied and supervised. The provider also has every interest in offering a service center for the following reasons. This allows him to have a better long-term visibility on his turnover thanks to a better knowledge of volumes and thanks to the commitments of his clients. It can also optimize the management of its resources, such as recruiting new profiles, developing their skills, pooling expertise, and, as a result, generating growth and maximizing productivity. Another interesting advantage is that the duration of a partnership within a service contract is generally longer than any other mode of intervention. The process of selecting a service center within a large organization typically takes anywhere from 5 to 12 months, not including the transition period, which itself lasts for a few months. The process includes the following steps: the framing of the project, the inventory and collection of internal data, the writing of specifications, the design of the call for tenders file, the search for potential partners, and the management of the call for tenders until the contract is signed. I have completed my task regarding the second part concerning the description of a service center. In the video, I'll share a more complex example of activities managed by a service center, the third-party app maintenance of a decision-making solution. Thanks for listening. See you soon on my next videos.